live. Why am I going live? I started this thing last week or 2 weeks ago. We call this, or I call this, did you choose hospitality or hospitality choose you? So I'm driving to pick up one of my kids earlier, I want to say about 30 minutes ago, and I get this call out of the blue from Miss Loren Brown, who's right here to my right, and she says, "Hey, you do this show called." Did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you? She got the name wrong. She was like trying to act like she didn't know the name of it, right? And I said, "Why you want to be on it?" She goes, "Yeah, I want to." I said, "Well, yeah, I'm glad because I was going to ask you to be on it anyway." So now I said we can do it tonight, and she goes, "Really?" I'm like, "All I gotta do is get to the house, push a button, and we're live, and we can make it happen." So this is live right now on YouTube as well as on LinkedIn. Okay, for the world to see. So it is Halloween night. You
Ooh.
know, I gotta hand out candy, so we gotta get this thing done. Okay, so I gotta go scare some kids. So we need to get this thing done. Now, remember these shows are they're not like on air with Russell Hotels where it goes about an hour. This is about 20 minutes. It's kind of a quick hitter. How you got involved in this career, and all that stuff. So how are you doing today, Lauren?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy to be talking to you.
Okay, I enjoyed our conversations. We've had conversations over the last year or so. Since we know each other, we just kind of pick
Yeah.
up the phone and say, "Hey, let me see what Lauren's doing. I ain't heard from her in a while. Haven't seen any postings from her in a while. Let me call her and see what's going on." And she'll do the same thing to me. So this is a
Mhm.
good thing. And I met Lauren. Just real quick. When did we meet? Do you remember when we met?
I don't know when, but I know how.
Okay, how? That's what I mean.
So, how was I was looking up a hospitality podcast, and just like when you look that up, like something up in a dictionary, Russell came up. It was a picture of him. So, if you think of hospitality podcast, you'll see a picture of Russell. And it said on his website that you can call him. So I called him. I mustered up all the courage. I called and I left a voicemail. He actually called me back and was just so he just you're just so warm and easy, to talk to and just really hospitable, which is that's the name of the game.
Well,
So
I
it was
thank you
great.
very much. And we talked for like 2 hours, right? That first
Yeah,
time we talked about 2 hours because I
it's
remember
like
coming back from somewhere.
yeah. And it was just so great. Just very even like, hey, you're even saying on your podcast at the time, hey, I got these invitations left for Clubhouse. If anybody wants them, you're more than welcome to have it. And you were able to send me an invitation to Clubhouse as well. So very great connection. Like so awesome.
Yeah, and we've been talking ever since, right? So we've
Yep.
been friends ever since. And Lauren and I have never met before in person, so
Not
all
in
this has
person,
been
not yet.
virtual. It's all been virtual. I've been to Houston like 10 times, and she always somewhere
Yep, in
else. Isn't that
California.
something? But anyway, okay, enough of that small talk. Okay, this is the question, the burning question everybody wants to know, Miss Lauren Brown. Did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you?
I think it's a little bit of both because it got to the point with hospitality, it's like dating that guy. You always go on dates with him, but you never really commit. And, you flirt with other people and, whatever, but you guys are always going steady, going on a date. And so I just finally decide I'll go ahead and marry hospitality. It's always been there. I guess I'll just go ahead and marry it, fine. So yes, I think it's a bit of both. It chose me and then I end up choosing it in the end because it was still there.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, well, give us a progression. Then we'll see based on your progression how you got started in this industry, if you
Mhm.
chose it or if it chose you. So go through how'd you get started in this industry?
Keeping it real quick, I always say this, I'm third generation hospitality. My parents were working at a Hyatt, and my dad being executive chef, it was pure nepotism. I needed a job. I asked him about this hotel that was being built or done being built, and my dad is like the phone book. He knows everybody. And his one of his good chef friends worked at the hotel and I got a job. He's like, "Lauren, just show up. Just show up." And so I got a job as a hostess. And so I was a hostess for a while and then Ended up going away. F&B wasn't my thing. I ended up going back to working retail while still going to college for photography. And I came to the hotel just for a quick visit, and the general manager was behind front desk. So if you know this, if the GM is working front desk, they need somebody. So she said, Lauren, were you ever interested in front desk? I said, yes, I was, but the position wasn't available when I was here. She's like, well, it is now. When can you start? And I said, is Monday too soon? And it's just been from there.
Very good, very good. So
So
tell us,
12
okay,
years
so
later.
that was 12 years later. Okay, so do
That's
your
what, yes,
progression from then
this year was
to
12
where you are
years.
now, your different positions
Yeah,
that you
so
held and all that stuff.
front desk manager, assistant to the manager of operations, and being executive sales admin, and now I'm a sales coordinator. And I really like it. I really like that I am in sales, or I am working in sales because I was a front desk agent for so many years. And if you're going to be doing front desk, you'll think I'm a front desk agent, then I become an AGM, and then I become a GM. But one thing that I've learned during my career is that that may be the order of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's how you have to do it. You can try different areas in the hotel and see what works and best fits for you, because being a general manager is not something I aspire to, not even being an AGM. And I really didn't even enjoy being a front desk manager. I mean, I had the personality, yeah, I had leadership skills, but I just didn't like the stress of it all. And I found what I like, being in sales. Woo, Monday through Friday. I actually get to be with my family in the holidays. Sign me up. So I found what works for me, and I think that you have to be introduced to those sort of things. It doesn't have to be front desk, AGM, GM. There's different pathways for you to have a flourishing career if you just try a few things out and see how you like it.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. So there's no exact path to get in. I mean, it's just you get in where you fit in. I mean, we saw how you got in, right? And you kind of use that to go to different places. But you knew right away what you didn't want to do, right? You knew
Yeah.
that. Yeah, opposed to me thinking that I want to do all this stuff, and it ain't. It's once you get in and you start seeing things for what they really are, and you're like, well,
Mhm.
you know what? Maybe they ain't for me, but that wasn't enough for me. I had to jump in and I want to be, I'm gonna do the GM thing, and that wasn't really my thing, you know what I mean? And I quickly found out that was not my thing, and
Yeah.
get back to where what's going on, right? So stay
Mhm.
in your lane. Bottom line, it
Stay in your
comes down to
lane.
stay in your lane, and being a GM was
Stay
not
in your
being in my lane. So
stay in your and your gifting. Stay in what you're gifted in.
exactly, exact. So I'm gonna ask you this: in the front desk, what?
Mhm.
But then this is for people that are watching, and maybe they want to do the front desk. I don't know, but
Yeah.
what are some of the biggest challenges you had working at the front desk?
People. And you can't get away from them. The other challenge, Russell, and you will know this for a fact, is being held hostage by a guest. The guest is just talking to you and going on, and we're going there. We went to Pittsburgh and we stayed at this Holiday Inn Express over here, and it's just like you're stuck. You're stuck, and this is the time you want the phone to ring, and the phone not ringing. You're not gonna get saved by the bell. So that's key. That's the challenge. But it's also the fun part too. It's also fun to, you get to talk and get to interact with guests from all over the world. And that's what I always say about front desk. You get to meet people from all over the world, but sometimes another planet.
Mhm.
That part
Oh
too.
God, yes, yes. You would,
That,
yeah,
that
yeah,
part too.
yes, 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 yes. Though, what do you think you learn from being at the front desk? What skills do you need to have? Maybe you didn't have, or maybe you got to have some skills that
Mm,
worked in the first place, right? Because not
yeah.
everyone can work at the front desk. So, what skills do you think you had, and what skills do you think that are important for people that want to move into that area or that arena of
Well,
the front desk?
I think being, really, this is a people business, really being a people person, having the heart of the house, um, also anticipating the guest needs. And you are the first, being in front desk, you're the first and last impression of the hotel. This is your opportunity, to catch them before they do a survey or anything, like that. Um, and so I think that, and you get to really know the guest. And then now, since I'm on the sales side, I see how important it was to ask the guest, hey, are you here for leisure or business? And that way, because especially here in Texas, they could be working for Chevron or Shell or Exxon, all these big oil and gas companies. And so you really want to be able to capture it because, they can book a third party reservation because it's cheaper. But hey, if you did an LNR, a local negotiated rate, we can hook you up, which include breakfast and shuttle service and all that kind of stuff. And so it's really important that you get to know we front desk agents kind of get to know guests a little bit more.
I like that. I like that. You see how she threw it at? It was at LNR. Is that what you threw in there? What was that?
Mhm.
Local
Local negotiator
negotiated
rate.
rate. Okay, all right. Hotel people love to throw around acronyms, okay? Because I believe me, there's someone out there like, what did she say? LNR? What the heck is that? Yeah, that's a local negotiated rate where the salespeople negotiate with, like you said, Shell or
Mhm.
different companies like that
Yeah,
to get this
people
special
local.
rate, right? So yeah, Lauren just dropping. She just dropping stuff, just dropping information out there for y'all. But okay, so what advice would you give
Mhm.
someone coming in? Did we talk about that? No, we didn't talk about that.
No, I mean, first of all, the easiest point of entry of hospitality, I would say, is F&B. That's how I got in, food and beverage, being a hostess, being a waiter, that's the easy point of entry. You can go up from there. So I think that that's, the easiest way of how you can get into hospitality. But one thing that I love about our industry is that it's one of the very few industries that require a college education. So some jobs you have to, especially here in Texas, even in California, you have to have 10 years of experience, be bilingual, have a bachelor's degree. And in hospitality, depending on what you do, you don't have to do that. And you can become, a general manager or be, an executive or a director of catering or things of that nature. My director of catering or special events at my property, I talked to her and she also, including myself, did not complete their college education. And so I applaud those who have, such as yourself, but it's also great for those who, like I said, it's just one of the few industries where you can really work your way up to the top. You got to work. That's the key. You got to work your way up. And so if you pay your dues, you can be there. You can be at the top.
Absolutely true. That is you're so hit you hit it right on the nail right there. And I always mention that no two people got in the industry alike. Okay. You can come in the front door, the back door, or the side door. It don't matter. You can be there, you can make a presence, but like Lauren said, you gotta bust your hump. You can't just come in there and people gonna hand stuff to you, right?
No.
You gotta work hard and hard work. One thing I can say about the hospitality industry is that the harder you work, more people do recognize that, and people want to assist you because you're always going to need a mentor, someone that's on your side, an advocate to push you to different positions and things like that. Because sometimes we don't think we're able to do those positions, but you have an advocate on your side, and a lot of times it comes from unlikely sources. I mean, people that I didn't think even like me, they help me, move my career on. So I'm like, hey, I can because they appreciate the hard work, they
Mhm.
appreciate the hustle. So that's one thing about the industry is that if you put in the hard work, they definitely will recognize you.
It makes a difference. Someone who's there to advocate for you because I had a DOS on one property who advocated for me to transition from front desk to sales. And so it's really good to have people in your corner. And then also, like for me, I threw it out there that I was interested in the position. They didn't approach me. I approached them. So I'm already in here. Here's an opportunity to promote from within, which is something you really want to try to do first anyway. And so don't be afraid to even toss your hat in the ring. See, if they say no, what's the worst that can happen? You already where you at. It's nothing,
That's true.
nothing
Worst thing I can say
changed.
is no.
But yes, but then again, ask why. That's and be strong enough to take the constructive criticism. They may feel like you're not ready or what have you, or they may have somebody else in mind, in the back scenes, behind the scenes. So be sure to get that kind of feedback, but also keep in mind paying your dues and not just, oh, I've been here for, I don't even have that many years of experience, but it's always good to try, but once again, pay your dues, let people see how you work and how you operate.
That is true, and I always tell people this. This is one thing because I get these calls where people don't think they're qualified to do certain things, and they say, "Well, I don't think I'm qualified. What do you think?" And I said, "I think you should apply. It's up to them to tell you
Yeah.
that you're not qualified. It's not up to you to already give up. I'm throwing up the white flag, and I haven't even applied for it. You know what I mean? So just go
And
for it."
people do that all the time. They count themselves out. They talk themselves out of opportunities. And it's funny how there's some people who are just, have all the courage or have all the confidence, and they don't even have the skill set to back it up. But they're in their own little world. They're just so confident.
Yeah,
But yeah, don't count yourself out. Like you said,
exactly.
let them maybe say it. But and even then, there's so many other people, there's so many other things that you can try, like, especially me, I live in the 4th largest city in America. I'm not worried about it. I'm passing up hotels to get to this hotel. So, I'm not I'm not worried about it.
Exactly,
It will be
exactly.
okay.
There's ample
Keep
opportunities
knocking on the
once you get in
doors.
there. Exactly. Once you get in there, especially at the front desk, I mean, that's huge customer service. You can take those
Yeah,
skills anywhere. I mean, just dealing with
anywhere.
people, showing empathy and all those kind of things. I mean, you have to do that working at the front desk because, like Lauren said earlier, that's the nervous system of a hotel. No matter when you come in, when you leave, and even during your stay, if there's issues, where are you going to come? You're going to come to the front desk and deal with it. If the issues are at the pool, you're going to come to the front desk. If they're in the parking lot, you're going to come to the front desk. So you got to have somebody got to have some thick skin too to work there.
Yes, and you're on the front lines. You
Hmm.
are on the front lines. That's the thing, you are on the front lines. So you're gonna
Exactly.
you're gonna have to take it. That's the con that I didn't like Russell working at front desk, was because I felt like other departments wasn't doing their part in the service recovery.
Hmm.
Like, we communicate things to housekeeping, and here it is, we get the brunt of it, and we're giving the guest points or whatever to do service recovery, and that little housekeeper, she gone. She's
Yeah.
gone for the day. She don't have to worry about or deal with it. So I
Exactly.
just wish that other departments would take accountability with the service recovery, whether it's doing a letter to the guests, housekeeping, doing like a cute animal towel or chocolates or things of that nature, to show that they also care and they also heard what happened and they too apologize for the inconvenience.
I got you. I got you. But that's y'all job, okay? That's y'all job at the front desk, okay? So just deal with it, all right? I hear what you're saying, but y'all just deal with it, okay? But it's important. One thing that I didn't
And I'm
know when I
trying.
when I started in hotels, because I came from a college that had a hospitality program, but I never worked in a hotel. So my first opportunity was to be a sales manager at a hotel, but I didn't take that route. I took the route to start in housekeeping because I did not know how hotels communicated with each other, how departments communicated within each other. I didn't know the dynamics of it at all. So I said, you know what?
Mhm.
If I'm gonna sell something, I have to know how it works, how each department communicates and understands each other, and who and what their roles are, right?
Mhm.
So if I just started selling it, I would be I mean, there's a lot of people that started that way. Don't get me wrong, and a lot of
Yeah.
them are doing well, but a lot of them had a lot of growing pains too that I saw, and I said, you know what,
Mhm.
I'm glad I ain't that one. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I learned everything before I got into sales. So I spent 7 years in operations before I got into sales. Okay, so
Really?
yeah, that's right, that's right.
Wow.
Started off as a housekeeping manager, did front office, did some food and beverage, became an AGM. So you knew everything about operations. I knew banquets, I knew dish ups, I knew plating up. I used to assist everywhere in that hotel. Was on the roof with the engineer. I did all those things because certain hotels, and this is the thing. I was at 14 different hotels. So 14 different hotels offer different issues. Okay. One was in the
Mm,
summer and we had constant air conditioning problems. So I was always on the roof with the engineer just to understand what the heck he was looking at. Then that way I can go down, not that I'm going to tell the guests everything that's going on up there and that the AC is not going to come back on anytime soon. None of that, but just kind of to
yeah.
see the process that he was going through to understand how I can communicate with my other staff members, right, on what was
Mhm.
going on. So all that stuff played a role in it, right? And to this day,
Mhm.
I mean, there's nothing that has happened in a hotel that I have not encountered or or been witness to or
Right.
experienced. Nothing,
And
nothing.
and it helps you be a well-rounded hotelier with things like that because I can remember, and it depends on how long you've been in the game because I can remember, Hurricane Harvey, how devastating that was not only for the city of Houston but also for our property as well. We just got brand new fitness center equipment. Well, that's gone. I hope you got insurance, Mr. Hotel
Exactly.
owner.
Exactly.
So and then so yeah, there's just so many things that can happen or occur, or your city, especially being in major cities like, ourselves, of having, the Super Bowl and All-Star weekend and things like that. So yeah, you become very well-rounded of what's going on in your city and how guests are and just also the change of technology and how that also affects your hotel.
Exactly.
'Cause
Exactly.
I was making good tips before Uber and Lyft came along. I had a little guy I would call, like, $25 for bush, $15 for hobby, and I would make a killing on Thursdays because that's when all the business travel guests will leave. So
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
make, like, 100 bu
Yeah, the game has changed when Uber and Lyft came here for those
I'm
people
like,
making calling transportation companies. Oh, let me get you a cab. Let me do this. Let me do that.
that's
Yeah,
yes,
that's all gone.
yes.
That's all gone now.
It's
So
gone. That was my
yeah, yeah,
tips, that was my
we gotta
tips.
gotta do something else. But anyway, all right. Well, it's 22 minutes, and I try to keep these things tight. So, but I appreciate Miss Loren Brown. I thank you so much for your time. And as we can
Mhm.
see in closing, you chose hospitality. Okay, so
Yeah.
hospitality didn't choose you. You went out seeking hospitality. Okay, you're like, I'm finding hospitality. I hear hospitality's over here. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so show me the way. So, but that came from your parents, and that's good. So your parents did a great job of raising you and getting you into this industry. And you
Oh,
got to come
thank
back
you.
on, and we got to talk about this reimagined hospitality thing. But this ain't the time to
Yeah,
talk about that. Okay, we'll come back at another time. So,
awesome. That's
but no,
gonna
but thank you
happen.
so much. But I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you close it out by saying, what advice would you give someone that's interested in hospitality?
The advice I give anyone that's interested in hospitality is, be sure to have the heart of the house, that no job is too big or even too small for you to do. Anticipate the guest needs. Just really have a love, for people and a love for serving because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're serving people. You're not their servant, but you are serving people and to just have fun. It can be very fun. It's a lot of work, but it can be a lot of fun and you'll work with some really great and amazing people. Like so many great amazing people I've worked with in the past. So yeah, it's good.
I love that. That's a great way to end this segment. So no, thank you so much, Miss Loren Brown. Remember, we're live on here. I mean, these things come up every now and then. This was not planned, but when I get an opportunity to talk to someone, especially Miss Loren Brown, we're gonna make it happen. So, but this will be on the replay of LinkedIn as well as Facebook. Not Facebook. I'm sorry, YouTube and LinkedIn. But I'll make sure I put it on those other platforms as well. But anyway, thank you so much, Miss Loren Brown with Reimagine Hospitality. We do appreciate you taking your time on this Halloween evening. And now I got to go, scare some kids. So that's what I'm doing. I'm scaring kids with
Correct.
candy. Some people wait for the kids to come and give them candy. No, I chase them down the street, giving them candy. But I'm scaring them in the process. But anyway, I'm joking. Someone's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that Russell's like that." I'm joking. Okay, so
Yeah.
anyway, Have a good night,
It's
and we'll talk to you soon.